Welcome back, everybody, to another live show, League of Inches podcast, State of Origin edition once again. And this time we're going to be going through the Queensland side picked for game one of the 2024 State of Origin series. We had to deal with him last night, and tonight he can actually talk about his love of Queensland. And unfortunately, it's probably going to be a painful half an hour, but we've all got to sit through it. If I'm in this, you're all in this. So we've got Goosey on board. He's had about, what would we say now, 10 hours or so to actually go through this team and digest it. I know there's a couple of things he's probably not too happy with, which we will get to. What's your initial thoughts on the team, Goose?
I think it looks like a sharp team, and I think we're just going to run all over New South Wales, man.
Oh, goodness me. It's already started. And you know what? So you can see, guys, we've got a team of like 8 or something now at League of Inches. Goosey is the only Queensland fan, I think, on the show. So that shows you Queensland's passion. I think the Queensland passion's gone out the door. I question it. If you want to go me in the comments, please do. So we've already got Andrew in the comments going off. So let's get into it. Let's get straight into, as people join the podcast. First one we'll talk about, and I'll start sharing while Goosey talks to us about his love affair with this kid, Reece Walsh, on fire, arguably one of the fullbacks of the competition, has been troubled with some injury. We will admit to that this season, but we all know he can shine. So Goosey, the fullback, Reece Walsh, any issues or concerns regarding that one?
No, I think he's a man for the job, but after watching the Broncos game against the Titans on the weekend, he did look like he was carrying an injury in the second half. So I think it's good that we have Selwyn Cobbo as a backup just in case. But if Reece Walsh is fit, there's no one else I would have over him. So I think it's a good decision.
No one at all?
No. Not Kalen Ponga. Maybe Mitch Barnett.
It hasn't taken long to mention Barnett. Again, guys, in the comments, please let us. It's already started. Can we put him in 10 sin bin? Not yet, guys. I do need someone to help me with the show. It's very, very hard doing these by myself, as you've seen the other week. So I'll bear with you for now, but we are introducing that. Don't worry about that, guys. We were speaking of it last night. It's a great idea. We will get into that one. So everyone's starting to get more and more online now to watch the show. I didn't advertise this one. I've ran out of time, guys, but we did mention it last night. So hopefully the few of the regulars come on, and hopefully some newbies come on as well and want to talk some Queensland Origin. Obviously, if it's not, and New South Wales is the more passionate one that gets the most views, we all just know New South Wales get Origin and Queensland do not. Here we go. So on the wings, let's talk about the wingers. Xavier Coates and Murray Tuilagi are your wingers. First off, I'll say Coates, no-brainer. I'm a little bit surprised by Murray Tuilagi's selection, if I'm being honest here, because I don't think he's actually been great. He has done a job in the past, I've got no doubt, but seeing Selwyn there on the bench, I just feel like Selwyn Cobbo's form has been too good this year to miss out on at least that wing spot. I know it's probably impossible for him to get a centre spot ahead of those two that's named at the moment, but I just think Murray Tuilagi and you put him up against Selwyn Cobbo, I'm taking Selwyn Cobbo every day of the week because I know what he can do and he can produce that moment of magic. Goosey, what are your thoughts on your wingers?
I think, honestly, Xavier Coates, the man for the job. He gets that jersey no matter what. I think Murray Tuilagi, I kind of disagree with, I think Cobbo's been concentrating on that center role this whole year. I think Murray Tuilagi is just an out and out winger. And he, honestly, don't get me wrong, Cobbo could do the job perfectly. But I just think Tuilagi is just the man for the job. He showed well. It was his jersey last year. He didn't prove anything to lose the jersey. So I think it's just a good decision.
There's your passion and pride, isn't it? Queensland pick and stick, don't they? As you all like to say. We'll get to picking and sticking because that's an absolute load of shit now. It's been absolutely blown out of the water. Anyway, the centres, Val Holmes and Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow, a.k.a. the Hammer, as I like to basically call him. I don't think I'll ever call him Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow anymore. Look, let's talk about Val Holmes. Obviously, I did see a few things over the last couple of weeks crazily saying that he would miss out on the team, which I didn't think was ever going to be the case. We know him at Queensland level just turns into the incredible Hulk. It's actually scary from a New South Wales point of view how good he gets. And just the hammer, I know he has been out injured, but there was no way in the world in my eyes they were never going to pick him if he came back and has produced like he has. Hasn't put a foot wrong. I don't mind it at all. What are your thoughts on the centres there?
I think it's just perfect. I think they're the two centres that are just going to like play with their heart on their sleeve and just give it all. They're both X factor players, both really good defensively. Like the speed there is just immense. Like I think best 2 picks. Like that's the best that you could do.
The only other option I could possibly say that I'll ask you about, Murray Tuolangi. So could it have been a possibility of putting Val Holmes on the wing, which he has done a job there as well in the past, and he has been good there. Selwyn Cobbo into the centres and Tuolangi out to either the bench, if that's how they want to play it, or 18th, 19th man?
I just think like Val Holmes is just like a different transformed centre now that he's just so defensively strong, like the Dane Gagai, which I'm kind of surprised he hasn't been called back in. But I think Val Holmes is just so good defensively, and plus put that Queensland jersey on him, and he's just, yeah, I think Val Holmes needs to be more in the centre than Cobbo needs to be.
I agree with that. I think. Andrew, thanks for, mate. Without you, I don't know
what a good one.
The hammer wing Cobbo centre. That's not a bad shout either. So keep those comments coming in, guys. I know Queensland don't have as much passion as us Blues fans, but keep it coming in. We're loving it. That's a good side they've picked Queens. Yeah, it definitely is. Damien from Newcastle as well, guys. Make sure if you are watching on YouTube and you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us, please. It goes a long way of helping support the page. Tommy Dearden and Daly Cherry Evans. Cherry Evans with the captaincy as your half and 5/8 pairing. No surprises for him whatsoever. I think there was a lot of people out there who may have thought Ezra Mam. Me personally, I think Tommy Dearden's done the job before. He's clear for mine to play at that level. Ezra's time will come. I just think at the moment they're best suited to have the pairing that they have chosen. What are your thoughts on the half pairing?
I think that's exactly it. Ezra's time will come, and he's shown like in the grand final last year, he is a big game player. But Dearden's just done the job before, and he's just a class player, and he will play very well on that night.
Yeah, Slater definitely does love Dearden. Look out. We have a late comer here, guys. Let's see if he makes a habit of this. There's going to be some punishments. Oh. Tyler, come in. You've come in at a perfect time here. We're just shutting off the back line here. So I'll let you have your say on the Queensland back line. What are your thoughts around it?
The back line scares me a little bit as a New South Welshman.
Hang on, stop the press. Stop the press for a second. We're on a roll here. You sound immaculate tonight. I'm going to give you credit straight. You actually messaged me and you said, I'm going to fix this up. Wasn't happy with your debut, even though I thought your debut was great. And you've gone, I'm fixing this up. I'll be back better than ever. And here you are, even though there's a punishment coming for lateness. There's got to be something there, but you're going to come back with a bang.
Nitty run.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, I have the audio working back now. Apologies for that last night. That was off to a shaky start. The improvements from last night. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. And I'm not on my phone, which is also going to help a lot from last night. I've got my computer back working again, so that's good. But yeah, the backline stands up late for the game. Yep, last 20 minutes. I don't know how long this will go for, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, this backline really does scare me a lot. You've got speed, you've got power, you've got everything you need in a backline here, and that's quite concerning to see, especially with pretty much all of them being in form. I'm interested to see how we can defend against it.
The only one that's not in form, we did talk about this, so I'll get your opinion, was Val Holmes. There was obviously some question marks around his form so far this year. We've both agreed, me and Goose, that when he puts that Queensland jersey on, he just turns into an absolute beast. I was never concerned, to be honest, about his selection. I thought he was always going to be there. Did it ever cross your mind about him making this side?
It crossed my mind about any of the Cowboys really making this side at the moment, especially on the downward spiral that they're on. They just say they can't seem to get it right at the moment. I don't know whether that will lead to Peyton being let go from the Cowboys, or whether as soon as they put on a Maroons, as soon as they put on a Maroons jersey, Slater can get them all firing again. And whether that's just certain players in that Cowboys squad that is causing that, or whether that is just the Queensland effect, we'll say.
Yep, 100%. Now let's move into the forward pack. So the big boppers up front, and not really the big bopper. Ruben Cotter gets a start at the prop position alongside Lindsay Collins. Lindsay Collins, a no-brainer. Ruben Cotter, I don't mind as well. There was rumours that he was going to start in the back row. I did not like that idea. I think he needs to be in the middle. So I don't mind this, a little bit more of a mobile type pack, which has hurt the Blues in the past. So I really don't mind this play. And Lindsay Collins for minus has been great. I think there hasn't been as much talk about him this year just because he's been overshadowed by sometimes May if he's having one of those games, or Rio Hargrave hit, but he's just been super, super consistent for mine. And that's exactly what Queensland love. They love those sorts of players that just do their job, and that's what you'll get from Lindsay. And no one can argue last year his series was a series like we haven't seen from a prop before. Out jumping Tedesco for the like, he was immense. Goosey, it must make you proud seeing that those two leaders in your forward pack.
Yeah, 100%. Lindsay Collins, like, he's a man that's going to just turn up for the team and just like I think he would be one of the first names on the list. Like, I think he's just one of those players that you just build your team around. And Ruben Cotter, even though his team's not in the best form, he's just an absolute tackling machine, and he just runs hard, and he's just like a menace. And I think both of them combined are just perfect picks to start off a game.
Yeah, no, I agree. Tyler, you got anything to add about the two starting props?
I mean, Lindsay Collins is a staple there, especially after last year's performance. There's not much you can say. If as a number 10, if you're out jumping a fullback, you're pretty much going to get picked every single time. Even though he has been on and off, hit and miss for the Roosters this year, I feel like he was always going to get that spot. Ruben Cotter's an interesting one for me. He's one of those players that I've just never seemed to click with, but I understand why he is there, especially just he's another Jake Trbojevic. He will go out there, run his heart out, tackle until his body won't let him anymore, and I understand why he's there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just quickly, guys, I'm going to put it out there as well because I reckon we will get through this one a lot quicker than last night, purely because I think Queensland have just picked a lot of players who everyone anticipated them picking, and they've done the job, and they've been there before. So I've got a couple of the newer boys on. So I want to give a shout out to everyone out there. I know you love firing these sorts of questions in. Let's get to know the newer boys a bit better. So as we're going, put some questions in. I'll star them, I'll save them. And then at the end of this, so probably in about 10 minutes or so, we'll get to asking these boys some questions and get to know them a bit better. So fire with any sort of questions, bloody footy, personal, whatever you want. We'll make sure we ask them and get the truthful answers out of them. Benny Hunt, the hooker, no question of mine. Again, him, and we may as well pair him up with Harry Grant, that combination, that 1-2 punch. In theory, it's crazy that it goes this way because in theory, you'd think Harry Grant would start and then Ben Hunt would be the one that comes on and provides that X factor sort of spark. But it just works so well the way Ben Hunt is such a tough player. It's actually ridiculous for his size. He's on the older side of things now as well. He just doesn't stop. He's such a warrior. And this combination just is brilliant. It works so well. It's not funny. And again, I say in theory, on paper, you'd think it wouldn't work, but it just so clearly does. Tyler, I'll shoot to you first for this one. There's no complaints here about this combination, is there? There's no one else that should have been in there.
Benny Hunt is unreal for Queensland. Even when there has been turmoil around the Dragons, and there's been rumours circling that he's been wanting to leave for a few seasons now. He's just sat there and turned up for the Maroons time and time again. The only the only bad performance I've ever really seen from him was 2015, but we won't go there.
Off the Cowboys.
Goosey, this combination, it must make you confident.
It's just like when you look at it, like as you're saying on paper, you're like, you see Benny Hunt all year long. He's a number 7 for the Dragons. He's number 7, and he just comes in for Queensland, puts on the 9 jumper, and looks like he doesn't miss a beat at all. It's absolutely amazing. And then Harry Grant coming on is just like the 1-2 punch, as you say, is just like there's nothing like it. I'm gonna be honest.
It is pretty terrifying, if I'm being honest, as a Blues supporter. Our fresh Harry Grant is always a scary, scary prospect. The back row, now this is where it starts to get a little bit interesting. Now, there's obviously a huge out here. I want to tackle that first. I want to tackle the David Fafita non-selection. Goosey goes on about Queensland picking and sticking. My ass that they do. They have not picked one of their stars. For mine, easily the most damaging back rower that they've got. Has been pretty good this year. So I seen a comment today from Billy saying his form hasn't been that great this year. I don't know what he's watching. I feel like single-handedly he's been carrying this Titans team since he's come back from that early injury layoff. So I very, very rarely question Billy Slater. I just think he's got this one wrong. And it's one of the only times I reckon we'll say this about Billy Slater's term as Queensland coach. Not having David Fafita as a New South Wales fan, I remember reading down this because there was obviously news about this yesterday. We didn't want to read too much into it because we know that some of this stuff gets misinterpreted a lot. And I thought, I'll quickly, when it gets official, he's the first name I'm looking for just to see if it was right or not. And it was. And I was in a state of shock. And I was thinking, this is great for New South Wales because we've chosen someone who is probably the form back rower in the comp at the moment in Angus Crichton. And I don't think either of Sura or Nana can handle him. But I thought David Fafita could easily have handled him. So it's going to be interesting how it goes. Goosey, I want to know your thoughts straight away here because I know last night you obviously were blowing up about this one before it was even confirmed. What are your thoughts now? You've had a bit of time to think about things. Is it still there, that the emotion behind it, or you can sort of understand a bit more?
I like the Jaden Sewer and the Nanai starting the game, but I think not even having Fafita as an impact player coming off the bench on tired forwards coming in through, bro, he draws when you watch him play, he draws in 3 people and he just caught the ball. He just has that impact on a game where you can bring in 4 tacklers and then boom, you get a quick roll of the ball, even a slowerish one. Harry Grant scoops up and he's gone. It's just yeah, it just really shocks me. And I'm not trying to skip down the thing, but you bring in Kafusi. What has Kafusi done all year compared to what David Fafita has? Yeah, I don't know. It shocks me. I could rant on about it all day. I understand the Piakura, you want to blood him in with the Maroon system. But Kafusi, what has he done, bro? He's got a shit trim and he's not playing good footy, really. He lost to the Warriors, man. Come on. And then you don't even have Fafita. I don't know.
What? The trim is that bad. It's actually good.
Yeah.
So I'll give that to him. It's that bad. It's good. I went to the barber today and I said, "Give me the Kafusi." He looked at me and I said, "I can't do that to you. You've got too much hair still to go." So I'll save you that one. Tyler, the day for Fafita before we open into a bit more of the sewer and NI selections, I just, as a New South Wales fan, I'm guessing you were pretty much the same as me. You're thinking, fuck yeah, this is great.
It's absolutely baffling not to have David Fafita there. He has pretty much, alongside AJ Brimson and players like Keanu Kinney, dragged the Titans through the mud in a lot of games. And even when he was going to the Roosters, he did go out on the field for the Gold Coast Titans and still tried his heart out and doesn't get picked. I don't know whether this snub in selection is because he was looking to move away from a Queensland-based team, or whether Billy's unimpressed about the way that it was possibly handled, being out in the media, being signed, and then backflipping at the 11th hour. I thought it possibly could have been that, or Billy's just been up on the Queensland too much and delusion's gone to his head.
Not a bad way to look at things. And look, I'll agree with what Goosey says about this starting. I think Sua really deserves it. So I don't want to take away from this because Sua has been in good form this year for the Dragons. I've called for him. I thought he would have probably been on the bench with Fafita starting, but I could understand what he was saying as well in terms of Fafita coming on as that impact player. I think that would suit him in Origin. He'd be terrifying as well. Imagine him and Grant coming on around the same time and just, oh, goodness me, good luck to soften that. And Nanai has started to find some form. I know the Cowboys have been very hot and cold this year. For mine, if this was picked towards the back end of last year, Nanai is nowhere near this side because he was that out of form. It wasn't funny. Probably started that way as well this year, but I feel like in the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, he's actually started to find himself again. He's become that attacking edge back row again, which he sort of lost in a way last year. And he's found that again. So I can live with both of these selections. I'm not going to go at Billy too hard about it. I just thought Fafita just needed to be there in some way, shape, or form. Paddy Carrigan, the lock. I tell you what, heart and soul of this team in a way, I feel like now. His beautiful face is pictured there. You just sort of stare into his eyes and his locks and that body. You just get lost in a way. I know there's rumors he's a bit of a terrible bloke off the field, but I don't know. It's just you don't want to believe it because he just looks so good. Anyway, if you are Paddy, let us know at the page. Send us a message. Let us know if you are a terrible bloke off the field. If you're not, we want to catch up.
Yeah.
Goosey, there's not much to say other than just you're glad he's there.
Yeah, 100%. I'm glad that he's on my team and he's going to be wearing that 13 jersey because, yeah, just the way he plays is just amazing. And it's just good. I'm just happy to see his name on the team. It's like there's like not many words to say. Like he's there and he should be there. And that's it. Like that's all you can really say.
100%. Tyler, I don't think there's too much more to add to that.
No. I think he will be the next captain for the Maroons once Daly Cherry Evans retires, which is hopefully soon.
100%. I agree with you. There he has captaincy material written all over him. The bench, we've already spoken about Harry Grant. So the others are Mo Fodawaker, Jermaine Hopgood, and Selwyn Cobbo. There's a bit to unpack in this bit. My 2 cents for what it's worth. Fodawaker, I think he has been quite good for the Titans in a struggling team for most of this year so far. So he deserves it. I'm glad. I'm happy to see him there. I said this a couple of days. I think I said it. I forget where I said it, but Hopgood for mine hasn't been that great this year. So I like the fact he's there. I like that he gets rewarded for, I guess, being okay in a struggling team. But it wouldn't have surprised me if they did go another way because for mine, Hopgood's one of those players who is not coming off the bench to add an impact type player. He has to be sort of that almost 80-minute player that just works and works and works, and that's what you get from him. And the Queenslanders already have that in, say, Cotter, Paddy Carrigan. I'm not sure how they're going to use Hopgood here. I'm very, very intrigued being a Para fan because we haven't really seen this side of Jermaine Hopgood yet. And if it works, then it possibly opens the door for Parramatta to use him in different ways as well. So I'm very, very curious. I'm just used to the one way we see Hopgood each and every week, which is basically just work his ass off. And he has had a couple of defensive issues this year, I've noticed. He has missed a few easy one-on-one tackles and been caught lazy a few times. So that's where I'm a bit concerned because in the Origin arena, you'll get found out with that stuff every single time. There's no let up at all. For Selwyn Cobbo for mine, I know there's all those stats coming out today and trying to justify why it's there, or there's a backline injury almost every game in Origin, and you can really tear your team apart. I don't buy it. Like Origin, you've got players there. Like Ben Hunt can do a job somewhere, if need be. I don't like having that backline player on the bench. That's just me personally. I don't know. Goosey, you're the Queensland fan here. The fan here. What's those 14, 15, the 15, 16, 17 on your bench saying to you?
Mo Fodawaker, I'm completely fine with it. He's a good prop. He'll come off the bench. He'll do his job. He knows his job. He'll do his role. Jermaine Hopgood. David Fafita would look so good in that 16 jersey with that 16 on his back. Like, imagine that bench. You would have Harry Grant, who would go into 9. You would have Mo Fodawaker, who could go on for Lindsay Collins, for instance. Lindsay Collins comes off. And then Ruben Cotter plays a little bit longer. Then Lindsay Collins goes on for Ruben Cotter. And then you got Dave Fafita just being able to come on for Jaden Sewer or Nanai or something like that. Just have that off the back fence, like just stuff like that. But I just don't see where Hopgood's playing. Like, I just don't really understand it. Like, for instance, Paddy Carrigan goes down, right? You could put Cotter to 13 and Mo Fodawaker to prop. You don't need Jermaine Hopgood in this team, I believe. Like,
it screams out for Feeder. It just screams out that Feeder was
does.
needed on this bench to make it perfect. If 17 or 16 was David for Feeder, it would be almost perfect.
Yeah. And I'm all for this Cobbo thing. Like, as you were saying, like, you don't get the thing, but I was chatting to my mate in the car ride home. Shout out to Ben. But he was saying four of like the last 6 games, a back's gone down in Origin. So I'm all for it because Cobbo's got all the skills. He's got the talent. He's popped in Broncos. He's popped in a couple of games through the middle. Like, it's not what he's used to, but he does the job. He can make tackles. He can run holes. The only thing I would change would be for Fafita for 16, and I would be happy.
All right, let me ask you this one then. Here we go. Let's debate something. You say that, and okay, valid point. I'll let you have it. What's more important, do you think, in Origin? Covering a backline player or covering an edge forward? Because at the moment, I look at your bench, you can't cover an edge forward either.
Well, see, that's the problem. Well, no, you could. But pick a player to go down. Who's going down? Just pick one, for instance. Just
Jeremiah Nanai goes down.
Okay, Nanai goes down. You put Fodawaker to 8 and then Ruben Cotter to the edge. Like, it's not the best, but like, or you move Cotter to 13, Carrigan to the edge. Like, it's not perfect, but like, it does the job of the game. But then if Val Holmes was to go down, who are you putting to center? Are you putting Nanai in center?
Yeah, probably.
Or Cotter and I would rather have Cobbo, who would come on and do a better job. Otherwise, they're just going to get found out by let's not talk about Sewer Lee because that guy's useless.
Well, okay. Let's say that the game goes on. There's no backline injury. We get to the 65th minute mark. Is Cobbo coming on, and how is he used?
No, he is. He's just going to be the Joseph Manu and just a floater. I don't know, but like, obviously, I'm not a coach. Billy Slater obviously has picked him for a reason, and he's going to find a role from me. Like, I like having that person on the bench. I don't know what Billy's going to do, but I don't know. Like, I'm keen to see what he does. But I'm fine with the Cobbo. It's just Dave Fafita for Hopgood's my only problem, I guess.
Let's get the third opinion here. Let's see what side he goes to, because the more I look at it, the more I talk about it, I actually feel more and more like this bench is actually off. It just doesn't sit right with me. Tyler, what are your thoughts?
The selection of Jermaine Hopgood is going to be like a Pandora's box type situation. If Slater can unlock his offloading game and his creative ball playing game, you will have an absolute superstar there that can play 60 plus minutes. Absolutely. And he is like a Ruben Cotter. He will go out there and try his heart out when his head is in the game. But watching recently for Parramatta, he has just not been in the game. And yet again, I don't know whether this is going to be the same situation as the Cowboys players in there, whether as soon as they put on the Maroons jersey, they find a newfound passion suddenly for the game, or whether they revert back to their club ways of, if they do end up going down by a few tries, they put their heads down. For the 17 of Selwyn Copper, I think it's mental not to have him starting over Talangi and having Hammer on the wing. I feel like Hammer is too quick and too powerful, as he is a very short player. He does have a lot of power behind him, and even if you are worried about that power, you can have a taller player such as Val Holmes out on the wing to cover those kicks. He was in the he did try it for the NFL, so obviously he does have some sort of power behind him. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given him any sort of run. But not, I don't know whether Cobbo suits the Joseph Manu kind of floating role. For me, I feel like he's just too good of a player to be floating, doing God knows what and having no direction.
Talking about the extended bench now, Felice Kapusi, Goose has already gone on about this, so he's already skipped ahead. He doesn't need to say anything else. I'm a bit confused as well, to be honest. I actually had a feeling he retired from rep footy, but here he is again, 18th man. I would have rathered a young guy there at 18th man. Even like Ezra Mann, put him there at 18th man. Even put either of the two behind him in Piacura or Mam at 18th man. And then have another young guy coming through that can get experience. I don't know if Kafus is gonna be in the plans for the Maroons, or he doesn't need to be involved with a camp, let's say, because he knows what goes on. If there's injuries in game 2 or 3 and they need him, he doesn't need to be involved with this game to know what's going on. He'll come in, he'll do his job. So it is definitely for mine a bit mind-boggling. I was very, very confused reading it. Brendan Piacura, I know there was a lot of people like yesterday when these teams are coming out saying, how do you put Piacura before Fafita? But I'm all for his selection because he's going to be someone that the Queenslanders asked to step up over the next couple of years, and you give him the experience now. You let him be in camp, and you let him see what's going to happen and experience what this week and a half is like, because it's exhausting from what players have said about it. And I've heard a lot of podcasts, etc., where they talk about this sort of week. It's exhausting. It's a huge week for them. So they've got to make sure that they start preparing for it already, even though they're not going to be part of the team. Ezra Mann, he's got to be there to line off Daly Cherry Evans. It's going to be him and probably Tom Deard in the future of this Maroons team, maybe Sam Walker as well. That'd be a nice duel to see those three play it out for 2 positions. But I don't mind him having a bit of a say either. Goose, you got anything else to add on? Only really Ezra Mann. You've already spoken about the other two, so.
No, I think having Piacura and Ezra Mann are perfect. You're blooding them in the system of the Queensland team. They're getting in the environment. They're getting to understand Origin. It's like Reece Walsh last year. Kalen Ponga was playing. They blooded him in for the first game, and then Kalen Ponga got injured, I'm pretty sure, and then Reece Walsh played the rest. But going back to the Kafusi thing, I just don't understand it. But I'm not going to touch on it again. I could be here all day, but yeah, should
Ponga
be.
didn't play a game last year. Shows your passion for your state. Yeah, absolute tosser.
That's right.
Tyler, what are your thoughts on the extended bench?
I don't know whether Kafusi is in there to kind of lead the younger forwards and that forward pack in there. I don't know whether they've just brought him in as the old head. But for all life, before he does show up at wherever round 1 of Origin is being played, he needs to get a trim because that is abysmal. I've seen some trims in my time. That is one of the worst. Piacura, I think it is really good to have him in a camp. As you said, Joel, he will be someone that Queensland will call upon in the next few years, and I feel like he will be one of the next big things. One of the best forwards probably in the game if he continues with the Broncos, or possibly elevates his game. And I mean, the only other way up really is Penrith, it seems, at the moment. But if he sticks within this Broncos system, he could become one of the best in the game. Ezra Mann has been in form this year. I think he shone in Vegas, and he has really stepped up when Reynolds has been out. And the Reynolds injury is unfortunate, but he has really just taken a hold of that team, as well as Carrigan, and they've both led really well.
I agree. Let's get into getting to know these boys a bit better, because there has been a couple of questions come in. If you have any, please make sure you get them in as we go. I'll answer this one first. Get it out of the way, Andrew. Joel, you're picking Paddy or Fa'alongo, and he said after that for dinner, Fa'alongo. My boy still Fa'alongo every day of the week, and twice on a Sunday. He can come over for a roast on Sunday, and I'll cook him too. So 100% picking him. Next up, what is your favorite barbecue food? Now, the thing with Andrew, guys, you got to understand, he asks a lot of food questions. So, obviously, stuff that's on his mind, food. So, you got a few food questions here. Goosey, what's your favorite barbecue food?
Oh, I'm not really a man for steak, to be honest. So it would probably be, I don't mind like some chicken kebabs or some sausages, honestly. That goes down a treat, something like that.
Oh, choice. Tyler?
Little known thing. I don't eat sausages, which is shocking to most. I don't know why. I just can't stomach them for whatever reason. However, I have family members who have been chefs for many years, and they make a mean brisket. So that would be my go-to barbecue.
Oh, dude, I do not mind the sound of that at all. Go to drink apart from water. Tyler, you can attack this one.
Are we talking alcohol or
whatever you want? What's your favorite apart from water?
Oh gosh, I don't mind. Currently I'm on the ciders at the moment.
What brand?
Love a good Summersby at the moment.
Yeah.
It's just the basic go-to pick. But also not impartial to a bit of a Carlton Dry either.
Ooh, look out. Goosey, what do you got for us?
James Squire alcoholic ginger beer and lemon lime and bitters.
Hey, look out, you typical Queenslander. What a Queensland drink. Oh, just have a lemon lime and bitters. What is their go-to fast food place and order? I told you guys there's some food questions. Goosey.
That's sweet. Right now, like I've been craving some KFC, so we'll do that. So it's the Zinger bacon and cheese, and then 10 nuggets with sweet and sour sauce, and then a pepper mayo slider, and then can't go wrong with Manager.
Yeah, no, look at this.
Mums, I eat that.
Are you trying to feed a whole family?
Nah, G, that's just me. I'm the skinniest fat person you've ever met.
Oh
goodness me, that's funny. Tyler,
I'm not impartial to a bit of KFC as well. That would probably be my go-to order. Oh, that's a hard one for me. I'd probably go currently just with a Zinger bacon and cheese, just combo. At the moment, trying to cut down a little bit.
Not a Goosey, not just shoving it down.
No. As soon as I look at a candy bar, I gain about 500 grams. It's bullshit. So it's fun, is what I'll say.
This is a good one, Paul. Let's see how deep Goosey's knowledge of Queensland goes. Who are one of the best 80s and 90s players?
Let me have a quick think.
He needs to Google.
Maybe. No. Maybe. No, I don't need to, bro. One of the best All Black, or not one of the best, actually. That's a little bit too far, but Brad Thorne. That's just knowledge.
Not All Blacks, Queensland. We're not talking.
Rugby. No, he played one of the All Black. He played for Queensland and he played for the All Blacks. That's how I remember it. Brad Thorne.
Okay.
Queenslander.
He didn't play in the 80s or 90s.
Yes, he did.
The question is the 80s or 90s.
Yes, he did. I searched it up on Google.
Oh, yeah, you did. You Googled it.
Let's go and tell us.
Oh, yeah, good work,
I didn't
Google.
Google
So,
that one.
Paul, to answer your question, he's actually a fake. He's just one of those typical, I just go with Queensland for the sake of it.
Because I live
Andrew's
here.
got a good one to finish. Tyler, I go to you first. Can I also ask why they support their team of choice? Parramatta
So,
fan?
yeah, I
Oof,
was
I'm with you.
born into a Parramatta family. My family has very deep ingrained roots into the club. My grandfather did work as a professional photographer for them for years, also as well as my stepmom. Her great grandfather was the late great first ever halfback for the Parramatta Eels, Wally Woodward. So we were, I was doomed from the start, and I'm pretty sure if I would have said I supported anyone else, I would have been living in a cardboard box somewhere.
Mate, I wholeheartedly agree with that. I put a status up the other day, a bit of tongue in cheek. A few people have seen it with the my son's now fins up after the disgrace that's been Parramatta lately. And I think my dad and a few other family members had heart attacks. They almost disowned me. They didn't realize it was a joke. As much as I don't want to do that to my own boy, he will be blue and gold. He has the last name. He has no choice. Goosey, why were you a? Who knows what? You know what? He's probably gone through 7 teams so far. Let's hear this actually.
Nah, so obviously I was born in New Zealand, so Warriors. There's no other choice. Like if you're born in New Zealand and you don't support the Warriors, what are you doing? Like you gotta ride with the boys through the ups and downs. But
Smart.
yeah, my dad hates rugby league, so he thinks it's not the sport. So I was brought up in a rugby union family, but my weekends are full of rugby in general. So I love watching rugby league. So Warriors was the one to be, but we supported the Cowboys. Well, if my dad was to support a team and it wasn't the Warriors, it would be the Cowboys because he went to school with James Tamu's dad back in the day. So Cowboys always got a little bit of love for the Cowboys. So thank you, Ben Hunt in 2015. But you'll do a great job next Wednesday. So
That's
no,
it, guys. Hope you've
otherwise,
enjoyed it. I'm going to declare it now from both shows, last night's and tonight's show. New South Wales clearly get Origin, and they're a lot more passionate than New Queensland fans. There have been not many. If it wasn't for Andrew, there is not many in the comments, and Andrew's not a Queensland supporter. I know that for a fact. So, unlucky. Obviously, there's been a lot of people watching the videos after they've been released. So if you are a Queensland fan, you do watch the replay, just add a comment to show you do support them. When they need some help, we're going to have probably a preview show maybe next Tuesday. I'm going to put a call out now. I want to see a lot more Queensland fans in the comments on that show. So gather the troops, Goosey. You're going to need it because you're going to be absolutely smothered with blues. So thanks for listening, guys. We really do appreciate it. Hit that like, subscribe button where you can. Make sure you enter the competition for that Parramatta Field Club tickets as well. Go onto the page there and have a good night. Thank you for tuning in.